a medical student and you're finding it hard to cope with the entire tutorial level topics, the anatomy, the biochemistry, the physiology, don't worry, I am going to show you how to do that. Hi, my name is Mary Rose, and on today's episode, I will show you how I moved from a confused 200 level student to one who understands better and actually performed better in her 300 level. So let's get right into it. But before then, in my 200 level, I was only used to cramming stuff, trying to cram the entire anatomy, biochemistry, physiology, just try to, with their new words, the new terminologies, you just moved from chemistry, physics, biology. I have seen biochemistry, I have seen anatomy, I have seen the embryology, the histology, and you're like, what's all of this? And that was really how I felt. So I resorted to cramming, thinking it would work, but no, that didn't work because I ended up failing all my 200 level exams. I got below 50 in them, except one. But in my 300 level, none of that happened, right? None of that happened. What did I do differently that actually works for me? But before then, I'm going to be telling you guys the mistakes that I made, and you just reevaluate, see how this applies to your life, and know if you're also making these mistakes and how you can avoid the mistake that I made was that I did not attend classes. So when you hear chemistry, biochemistry, they just sound more similar. I mean, maybe just the biological aspect of chemistry, or maybe when I attended few classes and they were teaching us acid water base, and I just felt like there was nothing really here, so why am I even attending classes? But then one thing I've always tell you guys is that attending classes is really going to help you, because at least you know the topics that are being taught. So even when you go back to settle down and read it, you know what you're actually reading, and you're not reading out of scope, you're not reading what is not entirely taught, or you're not reading what does not apply to your lecturer. Because not only do you know what is taught, you also know the lecturer's pattern of teaching and what the lecturer is going to like. So over to the second problem that I did that made me fail in my 200. I also barely read my book because I didn't feel like. So this is all about consistency, right? When we talk about reading your book, it's hard to read every day. It's hard, but then you're not going to rely entirely on motivation. You're not going to read only because you feel like. You have to be disciplined enough to like make yourself read. You have to be disciplined, because the consequences of you not reading now is far greater. Because if you're not reading throughout the entire semester, and then 2 weeks to the exam you are trying to crash read, oh my god, like the entire thing is going to be, is your head is going to spin. If you're not even going to be mad, because your head is going to spin. And that was honestly how I felt, especially with my biochemistry exam. And then the third one was that I focused on cramming instead of understanding. I wanted to cram the entire physiology essays, I wanted to cram the biochemistry and its formulas, I wanted to cram the anatomy and the terms. But over time I realized that it's actually better that I understand these things. So in separate videos, moving on, I might actually make videos on how I ended up understanding anatomy instead of cramming, and how I ended up understanding physiology, and then the resources that actually helped me to understand these things more and not to cram them. Now back to the solution. What actually changed? What's changed? So what changed now is going to be more like reverse of my problems, right? But then in addition to the reverse of my problems, I actually did one more thing. I had to rewire my mindset, right? So before my 200 level, I was this kind of person that believed that the attitude you carry to something, or the mindset, what you believe in your mind about something, is actually going to reflect. It's going to reflect physically on that thing. So if you have the mindset of, why do I even need to study when at the end of the day I'm still going to fail, you will see that you start telling yourself there is no need to study, and when you don't study, you're not going to know anything and you end up failing. But like, if in your mind you tell yourself like, this is hard, yes, this might seem hard, but I'm just new to it and I'm figuring it out, and over time I'm going to get better, you'll see that like, no matter how tough or how impossible it seems, like you are still going to come across resources or people that will like help make your life easier, and like the entire thing just gets better, and you see yourself performing better even beyond the exams. So the second thing that I did, how to start attending my classes consistently. And look, there is a big difference between understand and attending classes consistently and actually focusing in class. So some people just come to class and they are backbenchers, they are on their phone throughout, and it's only when the lecturer says something like this thing might come out in your exam, oh, then you see everybody trying to scribble it down. Please and please don't be that kind of person. Be someone who attends class and you listen attentively to the lecturer, because in majority of these cases, if you actually listen carefully in class, you might not even get so confused when you go back to read it. Do you understand? You might not even really need to do so much hard reading when you actually go back to your notes to read them. And again, if you listen attentively, you can also pick out how the lecturer might ask his questions in exams. So I hope this really helps you, and I hope this sinks into your brain, and I hope you actually do it. And then over to the third thing that helped, I read every day, no matter how small. So reading every day can be tiring, it's boring. There are days that is exciting, there are days that is very, very boring. But like, I always used a schedule list, and then I always break down everything that I have to do. So it might seem like you're just reading small today, but by the end of the week or by the end of the month, when you bring a list of everything that you've consistently read and revised, you see that you've actually done something. So no matter how small you think it is, sit yourself down to read. And it's not only about the number of hours you read, it's also about how much do you read within those hours. Do you understand? So those are the three things, those are the four things that I'm going to be stopping here for now that really, really helped me. First, I had to rewire my mindset. Secondly, I had to attend my classes regularly and actually listen. Third, I had to read my books every day. And then lastly, I focused on understanding and not cramming. So like I said earlier, I'm going to make videos on how I was able to understand various subjects, various courses, this anatomy, physio, biochemistry, without really cramming them most of the time. Yes, there were times that I had to resort to cramming, maybe because I didn't have enough time before the exam, but majority of the time, I always tried my best to make sure that I'm understanding and not cramming. Now that I'm done telling you everything, that's my mistakes and what changed, so now how do you plan on applying this thing? Because my aim is not only that you watch this video, you like, comment, subscribe. My aim is that even after watching this video, you actually put these informations to use. So I'm going to be asking you 3 questions. Now you're going to use these 3 questions and assess yourself. Do you read consistently? Do you attend classes and actually listen majority of the time? Do you? And also, when you read, are you understanding the things that you are reading? So we are going to use these 3 questions now and assess yourself. So if you assess yourself and you know where you are not doing well, then you are going to focus on that place and start building yourself consistently. And before you know it, you see your grades improve and you even see yourself having more stuff. Yes, it's going to happen. It's not magic. So in recap, I've already told you guys the problems that I had, what changed for me, and how we are going to apply this. And see, let me tell you, if I was able to move from someone that had less than 50 in her first and second in courses to having above 50 and even having 73 in one of my in courses, trust me, you can even do better than that, right? You can even do more than I did. And if this video has helped you in any way, I want to encourage you to send this video to that one classmate of yours that might be struggling, or you can just send it to your class group. You never know who needs it, you never know who is struggling, you never know that medical student that you are going to be saving by sharing this video. And please, as you share, don't forget to like, comment and subscribe.